Welcome to Madness, my Hatters. In this world, you will find strange tales, twisted adventures, and curious thoughts that dare to challenge the boundaries of imagination. Welcome to Diary of the Mad Hatter.
What's going on, my Hatters? Okay, so now I know a few days ago I talked about how the male loneliness epidemic thing affected me, and today I'm just going to talk about why I'm still marriage minded. Now, I know since the popularization of the red pill community popped up a few years ago, I know it's been around longer than that, but it got really romanticized in about around 2019, 2020, especially with the rise of Kevin Samuels, which makes sense. But for me, even through all of that, I still was a marriage-minded person, right? You know, we always hear the stories about how women file for 70% of the divorces, and how men get taken to the cleaners and all this other nonsense. And while the statistics aren't always being told 100 percentile, the entire truth is not being told, I get that. Me, I still have that marriage-minded sense. Like, I still want to be a husband again. I still want to have a family, right? And I'm 38. So, you know, the way I see it is that I do have time, and I still have time to improve myself, do better. And of course, I'm not afraid of starting over again, but at the same time, what I really want to do is I want to take those steps to where I'm actually making sure that I don't have to start over, where I can actually have my foundation already set, so that when I am married again, I ain't got to worry about trying to find something new, and more importantly, vetting the woman that I want to be with properly, so that I don't have to worry about getting married again or trying to find somebody else to be with, because I'm not a stranger to the term that it's not yours, it's only your turn. And the way I see it, I'm trying to make that turn last all the way to the bitter end. I would rather have that mindset of, okay, well, if she's not mine, it's just my turn. Well, let's make that turn last the rest of my life. That's the way I see it. And that's something that I had to think about for a really long time, right? Another reason that I find myself still being marriage minded after all this time is because I'm surrounded by men, right? I'm surrounded by men who are married. You know, my father is married. I have several uncles who are currently married. Shout out to Rogie B. I have several cousins who are married. You know, almost all the OGs in my family are currently married, except for one who's going through a divorce. We won't talk about it, right? I'm the only person in my generation who's actually gone through a divorce. I'm the only one. The only one in my family's generation who's been divorced. And surprisingly enough, when I got divorced, I didn't get taken to the cleaners. In fact, I didn't lose anything. At the time, I was in the military, and, you know, obviously, you know, I could have lost alimony. I would have lost, what, 2 months worth of alimony, but that's not what happened. That's not what my ex-wife did. She didn't try to hurt me when things ended. It's something I do appreciate about my ex-wife to this day. She didn't try to hurt me or try to do malicious things. The thing is that I became the problem after the divorce. After the divorce, I was actually the problem. And I can admit that. I can admit that I was the problem, and I definitely took every step necessary to try to fix the problem, mediate the problem, be better, right? And me and my ex-wife, obviously, you know, there's nothing between us now except for our children, but we still get along. We're still on good terms. I can have a conversation with her if I call her right now. We can hang out, do family stuff. Sometimes we still do family stuff. We still do stuff, you know, with our kids. Well, at least with Munch, the teenager, she likes to do stuff with her friends, which I don't knock her for doing. Shit, I love that for her. I wish I could have did a lot of stuff outside when I was a teenager. But nevertheless, I still have this mindset that they always come to me. They're always telling me, hey, look, if you're gonna be with somebody, you gotta make sure that you wanna be with this person. You gotta spend a really long time actually paying attention to everything she does, and not just what you see on the outside, but just how she acts towards people, how she is in public, behind closed doors. You gotta find her at her worst, and you gotta really determine if you want to be with her when her worst is about. Is her worst worth taking it all the way? Because let's be honest, we all have flaws, myself included. I'm not perfect, right? But I'm not gonna sit here and be like, you can only accept my worst. No, when I want to call myself being with somebody, I have to actually see their worst in order for me to really just be like, you know what? This isn't so bad. This really isn't that bad. I can deal with that. I can work with that. We can work together on that. And of course, I want her to see what my worst is too, and hope that what my worst is something worth working with, so that we can both come together and fix our worst together and be better for each other. And that's something that one of my uncles actually told me about. My uncle told me this when I was going through a divorce. He was like, you really have to be able to accept someone's worst before you can call yourself committed to them. And I get a lot of advice from a lot of them male figures in my family, especially the married ones, because those are the ones who I'm trying to be like. Like I said, I want to be a husband again. And I cannot sit here and claim to be a husband if I can't put in the work and understand from the people who are making it work. I think that's probably one of the most important things that I have done for myself, was actually listen to people who are in those trenches, who are in that world, who is actually making shit work. Not the people who ain't even tested the waters and just saying it's all bad based on the popularity of a few millionaires on YouTube. I just can't do that. So that's just how I'm looking at it. That's how I'm going forward with it, and that's how I want my life to be. I want to get into the idea that I can be successful at this, because I can admit I failed at it before, but I'm not gonna let my past failures determine whether I can actually try it again and be successful at it. That being said, tell me what y'all think. How do y'all feel about marriage? What is your future goals as far as relationships are concerned? Let me know. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. And yeah, make sure y'all check out the video right here. I think it's right here. I'm not sure. And there's probably one right here too, or it might be up here. I don't know. I don't know how these things are set up. Anyway, kindness is free, and I'm cheap as fuck. So enjoy the rest of y'all day. And as always, stay mad, my hatters.